whanau. My name's Brad, and over the next few weeks I'm going to be doing a few interviews with some interesting people around how they live and work among lockdown, COVID-19, and giving us a bit of a bigger perspective of how this is affecting people throughout Aotearoa and the world. And so the first conversation I'm having is with Nathan, and him and his whanau live in Kolkata in India, and they work for an amazing freedom business called Loyal, and they make these beautiful works of leather, and they employ women out of the sex slave trade. So I've invited Nathan to come and share with us a bit of the story of Loyal, their story, and also the story of what's happening in India as we face this COVID-19 lockdown. Hope you enjoy. Hey Nathan, thanks so much for coming on board to share some of your stories. Cool to hear a little bit about where you work and live. I guess to start with, you're in Nelson, New Zealand, so you're in lockdown with the rest of us. What's lockdown life looking like for you and your whanau?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I mean we kind of in some ways like apartment life in Kolkata, homeschooling kids. It's really good preparation for lockdown in Nelson, man. We still get to exercise most days and every day, and yeah, I mean the food's good, so we still go to the supermarket. So we feel like we've got nothing to complain about.
Nice, man. So I guess to start with, tell us a little bit about your context, like where you work, live, what you do.
So we live and work in Kolkata in West Bengal in India, and we work for a little business called the Loyal Workshop. And the Loyal Workshop is what we call a freedom business. So a business like any other, but the business has been set up and run to work with women who are victims of human trafficking. So that cause, if you like, is front and center of the business. So as well as needing to earn a profit, the business exists for freedom, to facilitate freedom.
That's awesome. And so Loyal exists for freedom of these women. Like what do they do on a daily basis? Like what does their work look like?
Yeah. So they are our artisans. So they stitch our leather products. So we make satchels, belts, wallets, that sort of thing. And so all the women make those things, and then I guess it's our job to export them around the world. And that's basically how it works.
What's your role at Loyal? What do you and your family get up to over there?
Not long after we arrived, the founders of the business left back to go back to New Zealand for a sabbatical year. So I ended up the interim team leader. So that involved checking in with each of the team leaders of the business, like head of production, head of marketing, our office manager, and just checking in with them, making sure they're doing okay. And then we'd have a quick staff meeting Mondays and Fridays. So it was lots of problem solving, it turned out basically that our local staff did a really, really good job, but they required a lot of self-belief. Because our founders kind of were involved in absolutely everything. So it was a really good time, actually, a great year. And so they feel so much more confident now that they can do all the job themselves. Without these guys. So in some ways it was a really good year for us all.
Yeah, I brought my wife Claudia one of your satchels that you released last year for Christmas. Mega Christmas marriage points.
Yeah, come on.
For that one.
Yeah.
It's good, man. They're beautiful.
Yeah, get on your bread.
So good, man. And I guess part of the conversation, it would be cool to hear a little bit about what's happening in India, how COVID's affecting the people over there, how it's affecting Loyal and the women who work there. I guess in New Zealand, we're in lockdown. Each of us have our own struggles with that, but we've still got supermarkets open. The government's doing as much as they can to be able to support people and businesses. what does it look like in India?
Yeah, well, in some ways it's the same, and yet it's very, very different. So India's in lockdown, people are losing their jobs, and so in some ways that situation is very similar. The difference is that you have a population of 1.3 billion, and so many, maybe a third of that population live essentially hand to mouth, and so they can't socially isolate. They live with so many other people. They can't stockpile food. So that's the difference. And there's no government kind of rollout to help businesses stay open and give people money that lose their jobs. So that's essentially the difference. The stakes for India feel a lot higher because cities are so densely populated. If COVID was to really take off, the death toll would just be staggering. So the government's in a very difficult position. Do we lock down to try and prevent the spread? And if we do lock down, if we kind of lock down for too long and people aren't able to work, they're going to get really hungry. So it's a really, really difficult situation that the country's in. And so we kind of feel fortunate to be here in Nelson, and yet at the same time our hearts kind of feel like they're still over in India with our colleagues and with our staff there.
Yeah, sure. So it sounds pretty different to what's going on here. I guess like in New Zealand, some people are really struggling, but some people might want to help in some kind of way. And so if anyone wanted to get on board with Loyal, support them, support you guys and what you're doing, what would that look like? What kind of opportunities would they have to be able to support the Loyal whanau?
Yeah, that's a great question, Brad. And I think thinking about other people helps us to get over our own situation. I know it's not easy here in New Zealand, so I don't think either of us are wanting to suggest that. But yeah, thinking about other people does help in a time like this. So there's a couple of things you can do. You can buy a Loyal product, which again feels like a crazy thing to do. These are expensive products, but by doing that, by buying one, you're going to help Loyal. Ride through the recession that will follow this. Loyal's launched a 5-kilometer fundraising run, so you can run the 5Ks, or you can give to someone who is raising money, and that will go specifically towards the women in Beau Bazaar. The government is helping give food, but what some of the ladies who are involved in sex work are finding when they line up to try and get that food. The stigma and their kind of reputation as sex workers is so strong that they'll often find they won't receive any food. So it's a really difficult time for them. And the last thing you can do is I'm running a marathon to try and raise some money for World Vision India, so you can support that too.
Nice, awesome. And so you got like a give a little page for that.
Give a little page, yeah.
What are you gunning for in terms of supporting World Vision in India?
I'm hoping to raise $100 for every kilometre I run, so it's 42 Ks.
What are you up to now?
There.
Halfway there.
Right now.
Oh, so good, man. Cool. We'll give a link in the description to give a little page to Loyal, into those things that they can link into. But cool, man. Keeping healthy, giving to good causes, and just finally, you're in Nelson lockdown, in it with the rest of us. What do you want to do once lockdown's over?
I think we'll be heading straight to Little India for a curry and a beer. That's yeah.
Cool, man. Awesome. Hey, thanks so much for joining us, Nathan. Yeah, looking forward to seeing what happens with Loyal and continuing that journey and hearing more about the stories of hope that are happening over there. It's awesome work.
Awesome. Thank you, Brad.
Cool. Awesome, Nathan.
All right.
See you, brother.
Man.
Bye.
Bye.
So that's our first conversation. I hope you enjoyed hearing a bit more about Nathan and his whanau and Loyal and the woman that they serve. If you'd like to support Loyal or Nathan, I'm going to leave the links in the description around their Give a Little page, around the 5K run fundraiser that Loyal are putting on. And if you can't get involved in them, I'd really encourage you to head on over to the Loyal website, have a look and get engaged with their socials and have a look at what they're doing. They're doing an amazing work with with women in India, and so check their work out. So thanks for joining us. We'll be back with another conversation soon.